Here are my early 2020 XXL freshman class predictions. I'll probably make another one of these videos in a month or so when this list becomes irrelevant and some other rapper blows up out of nowhere. But as of right now, this is my list. Starting off with the main attraction of the cover, the superstar, doing air quotes, NLE Choppa. I know NLE Choppa posted one Instagram story saying XXL is irrelevant, and he compared himself to herpes for some odd reason. I guess he's a fan of NBA Youngboy. But ever since January, XXL has been doing these Instagram posts where they get an artist to come in, pose in front of their XXL sign, and ask the question, should he be on the 2020 cover? This is clearly them coming into the offices to do their pitch videos. I'm glad I kind of waited this long because this was just posted like a week or so ago, and this is more evidence that NLE Choppa will be making the cover. XXL always needs at least one or two superstars to get people talking about the cover, and I say superstars very loosely. It's a popularity contest, and NLE Choppa is very popular at the moment. Now, rounding out that superstardom that NLE Choppa brings to the cover, I'm also going to have Lil Tecca making the cover. This one, out of all the artists I have on the list, it may seem the least likely because it just goes against everything Lil Tecca stands for and Lil Tecca's personality, because he honestly seems like the guy that would turn it down and it just wouldn't interest him. He clearly doesn't need XXL, and just like NLE Choppa is way above them. But in terms of having clicks, XXL should want Lil Tecca to be there for the freestyles and ciphers. The third artist I have making the list is Polo G, which is one of the very few artists that I've seen handle the freshman class situation extremely well, and I applaud him for that, because last year a lot of people were asking, where is Polo G on the 2019 XXL freshman cover? And he came out and said he enjoys the list and he looks forward to next year. So if all things go according to plan, he is a lock for 2020. And we can't talk about Polo G without mentioning Lil Tjay. They had a hit song last year, and their careers have both taken off respectively with the amount of music they're dropping. Really helps the fact that Lil Tjay's from New York. XXL, New York publication. There's always some New York bias. There hasn't really been much talk about Lil Tjay making the cover this year, but I feel this year should have been heavily inspired with all these upcoming New York artists, and we'll talk about that next, I guess. Honorable mention to Pop Smoke. It'd be cool to see if XXL does something with that, because he was on path to making the cover. He was on path to superstardom. Unfortunately, today he was killed in a home invasion, so it sucks. You don't know where his career could have taken off to. Comparisons wise, I guess, of popularity, he could have either turned into a DaBaby type artist, or worst case scenario, a Sheck West type artist, but he had a ton of potential. For sure 2 or 3 New York artists would have made this list. Now I'm not so sure. But an artist that I originally had making the list alongside Pop Smoke was Sheff G. There is an absolute ton of upcoming New York artists changing the sound. Pop Smoke obviously being one of the main guys rapping over basically UK drill type beats. And there's a lot of guys from New York that you could put on this cover, because there's definitely going to be 2, I feel. A Fabio Foreign's popular right now, Sleepy Hollow, 22 G's. But out of all 3 of those guys I just mentioned, Sheff G is by far my favorite artist in terms of the New York scene right now. I feel like Sleepy Hollow definitely has potential next year, but this year is Sheff G's time. Next up I have Rod Wave. He does a little bit of the singing, does a little bit of the rapping. His inspiration, or his close connection, is with Kevin Gates. I could easily see him becoming that type of artist in terms of popularity, and he just blew up last year, so XXL is usually that type of publication now, where they pick all of the artists that blew up in a year and then put them on the cover, or have a little bit of foresight, like last year they had with DaBaby and Megan Thee Stallion. So Rod Wave could be the next one up, but we'll have to see. I know he did a pitch last year. It'll be interesting to see if he does a pitch again, and if he does a pitch again, then that means I'll have him as a for sure lock for 2020. Next I have Jack Harlow making the list. His blow up song What's Poppin' just posted on Lyrical Lemonade. this year, but he's actually been dropping a lot of good bodies of work in terms of album. Confetti was one of my favorite albums last year, and I see the improvement from all of his prior albums. Now he's signed with the label, and the label has been pushing him a lot more, so this just seems like perfect timing to be a freshman for Jack Harlow, and I think he is. Obviously, on the internet, if you're a white rapper, there's always going to be someone downplaying your work, but he can actually rap, unlike prior artists that have made it in prior years. Which leads us into talking about D Smoke. I felt like the first part of the video was just mentioning obvious choices to make the list. Now we're getting more into the rapping aspect. D Smoke is by far one of the better lyricists that could make the list if he makes it. Screaming industry plant, by the way, with his connections, or I think his brother's another popular artist by the name of Sir. He has connections with like TDE, all of that. So I use the word industry plant as a broad statement to having industry connects. D Smoke definitely has industry connects. He got popular off of a Netflix series, so that doesn't make him a bad rapper. I personally enjoy his music. It kind of brings off, you know, J. Cole, Isaiah Rashad vibes, in my opinion. And I feel like he's one of these artists that is going to be around for a long time because of substance within his music. If XXL has taken a chance on Tierra Whack last year when she did absolutely nothing after that, they should definitely take a chance with D Smoke. Which leads us into talking about the following artist, another artist with industry connects, Kendrick Lamar's cousin, Baby Keem. I don't know how it would look with both these artists on the cover. I mean, they would actually look really good in terms of substance and the freestyles and ciphers, which is always a plus. But D Smoke and Baby Keem don't really need it in terms of they have the connects already. This is only gonna help them get put onto a broader audience. That's what XXL really does, because whenever a cover drops, people say, who? That's how many casuals there are that listen to rap. He definitely seems like an artist to turn it down and just be low key. He doesn't have an internet presence really at all compared to all these other artists that I mentioned. Yet he's out here taking pictures with Jay-Z at dinner, and Drake's out here saying that Baby Keem dropped one of the best albums of 2019. Which leads us into our final spot on the cover, the 10th spot. Normally I would throw in a female artist, but this year's been kind of quiet in terms of popular upcoming female artists. So instead of trying to diversify my cover like XXL tries to do, I'm just gonna go with a guy I feel is deserving, and that is Guapdad 4000. There's a lot of good choices here. You know, you could have Don Toliver, Shorty, Stunna for Vegas. But unlike those artists, Guap's story seems a little bit more fitting and cool to tell, you know? It seems like he has genuine friendships with some of these artists that land him placements on these songs or on these albums, and he was on Revenge of the Dreamers and was one of the standout artists that a lot of people took notice to. In terms of popularity, he definitely doesn't have the most views like the other artists I mentioned, but I feel has a better catalog and better longevity making music. It'll be interesting to see how things shaping up for XXL and in the music scene in the next couple of months, because XXL season is upon us. With that said, those are my predictions for the 2020 cover. Let me know yours in the comments section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's talk about it. Leave a like, subscribe, share the video around, and check out some of these other videos.